Hello again and welcome to Ndudu by Fafa.
You are welcome. Anyway, today I'm going to be stuffing my chicken with some yam as you do. Now, if you don't have yam, don't worry, you can use potatoes instead. So, of course, you do need your yam and, skillfully we need to peel the skin off the yam. Now, please do take all necessary precautions when you're dealing with any sharp objects. But of course, when I did cut my yam into, look at these things. Skillfully, I just use the knife to, make sure that I remove all of these. Yes, because we don't need that at all. Once that is done, we're now going to be cutting this into sizable chunks. Yeah, the sizes may vary a little bit, but you know what? This is homemade. This is you making it from your heart, and you absolutely excited making this flavor-packed dish. Now, of course, once I've diced, or may I say, cut this into sizable chunks, I need to wash it. So I'll wash it twice, yes, and then it's now ready for me to infuse my flavors. Starting with some chunks of onions that's just going to add its sweetness to the dish. Next thing is my salt to taste, and then I've got my Prekese tea, which has the sweet flavor as well. So that's just going to infuse into the yam. The next thing is my herby blend. Now, you'll find all these blends on my website, buyndudu.com, and it's going to add that herbaceous flavor to the dish. So once I've done that, the next thing I will need will be a knob of butter. I do love cooking with butter. Yeah, exactly. That looks like a knob, doesn't it? Not really. But don't worry. I will leave the measurements in the description box. So yes, you can familiarize yourself with that. And here I am just making sure I'm mixing everything together until it's well combined. Naturally, we do need our whole chicken for us to make this recipe, yes? So now I've got the chicken here in the clay pot. And now I'm just going to be stuffing this chicken with this beautifully flavored yam pieces. Now, equally, you can be creative. You can use your vegetables as well. Stuff it with your vegetables. Absolutely. You can use your potatoes, your sweet potatoes, anything that you need to use to make your roast or accompany your roast. You can just stuff that in. So yeah, that is just looking good here. And at this point, this was where it became tricky. So I was like, oh, let me use the string that the chicken came with, to tie this, because we just need to, trap that steam in, because it's the steam that's going to cook the yam pieces that's been stuffed in. And also the chicken juices would also go through into the yam pieces. So that is just going to be flavor packed. Now, I did that and it did work, but after, me fiddling with it a few times. But what I did find easier was when I tried the recipe again, because it became a firm favorite in the household, I then used a toothpick. Much easier, honestly. But then again, you have to actually leave the overlapping skin there, yes, to allow you to seal that. So that just looks perfect. So Sunday, you do this, you're good to go. Now I need to add salt, yes, because none of my spice blends have salt. I leave you with the choice to add the amount or quantity of salt that you would like in your dish, yes. So here I've got my Xorla barbecue rub, which is nutty, smoky, and flavor scented, absolutely. And a little does go a long way. But for this whole chicken, we are going to be using 2 tablespoonful of the Xorla barbecue rub. Yes, and what's going to happen here, of course, is we're going to end up with a crispy skin. But of course, I'm going to be rubbing this beauty all over the chicken, making sure I do not miss any part at all. Now, the beauty about this when it cooks is the smell or the aroma that you get is so good. Because, of course, you've got the Prekese and the Herby Blend. And Prekese is also known as the Aden fruit, which is all nutritious, by the way, yes. You've got that mixed in the yam, and that flavor permeates right through to the crevice of the chicken. Whilst, of course, the chicken juices also, whilst it's cooking, would also permeate into the yam pieces. So yes, I'm just making sure that the entire skin is definitely covered with the Xorla barbecue rub. Now, the spice blends just makes your life much easier in a sense that you don't need to add anything more or less. They can be used just on their own, and you can be creative and, mix them together to create new flavors. Yeah, so that just makes your cooking exciting. But then again, it takes the stress away from having to buy too many things to just use for a dish. So now this is ready, and I'm going to allow this to marinate for at least an hour. Now, once that is done, I will preheat the oven to 165 degrees. Yes, you go like, no, that's too low. No, and we're going to be cooking this for about an hour. The reason is cooking at that temperature ensures that the spice blend, the Xorla spice blend, doesn't burn. What it does, it just releases its oils and it permeates right through the skin into the flesh of the chicken. Now, if you cook it at a higher temperature, then of course you're going to have that burnt flavor. Yes. And here, let's check for how crispy the skin is. I will allow the chicken to rest for about 10 minutes before I do serve, and the clay pot will retain that heat anyway. Now, you'd notice when I was roasting this chicken, I roasted the breast side down. This would ensure that all the moisture, all the flavors actually gets right through into the breast. So you've got the crispy skin on the outer side, and then it's nice and moist at the breast side. Yes, exactly. That's my little hack that I always use, because I find that when you do turn it just the traditional way as this, that the breast do have that tendency of drying. But here we have the stuffed yam chicken. And yes, you can tell, the yam expanded and, it was in a rush to get out. So I had to help it get it out by, serving this. This is such a simple, easy, quick dish to make. And especially if you have like one of those impromptu guests. Bish, bash, bosh, you're done. Flavor pack. You don't even need to think about the flavor because, of course, Buy Ndudu has thought about the flavor there for you. So here we have it. Now let's serve. If you have watched this to this point, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. And if you do like what you see, please leave a heart sign or leave a comment or two. Share with your family and friends, most importantly. Invite them over as well. And above it all, do try the recipe, and I'd love to hear your feedback when you do try the recipe, because it does make a big difference. Absolutely. This is where the clay pot comes into being, because it retains all that flavor and that juice. And all this came through from the chicken. So all I'm going to do is strain this and pour this over my chicken. So yes, this is just simply delicious. Are you inspired to try this recipe? Please leave your comments below. And what are you going to be using to stuff it? Are you going to still use the yam, potatoes, plantain maybe? Do share. And just for that quick shenanigans, I'm adding some fresh parsley. Now, parsley is also rich in vitamin C. So, we're making this kind of wholesome meal here. And I do love just chewing on parsley as well. So yes. And then of course, I'll also add some sliced fresh chili. So of course, one who wants that extra kick can bite into that. Last but certainly not the least will be my spring onions, because of course parsley, spring onions, and the chili, yum, you bite into that accompanied with that Xorla barbecue rub. That's just flavor zone. We're drizzling just that barbecue rub on top of it, and I'm ready to serve. Have you got your fork and knife or even your fingers ready to actually just grab a piece and enjoy? Now let's check how the yam worked, or if it cooked perfectly. Look at that. It's just perfect. And look, it just cuts into it beautifully. So I've got that spring onions there, and I'll tell you what, that flavor is just incredible. And then the next thing I'll do is I'll do the parsley and then the chili and then mix everything together. So it's just like party in your mouth. This is not any other food. Ndudu Xorla my buddy, enye yalo. you vamidunlo, you. And also, you can use the barbecue wrap for your lamb, yes, and goat meat, your beef, like the choice is yours. It's so versatile and it's incredible. The Xorla barbecue wrap can also be used in making your satay curry, and I made this chicken and bacon satay curry the other day. Absolutely lovely. Now, if you'd like me to share that recipe, leave your comments below and I will do so. But I did share that on my Instagram stories. Now, if you've not tried, the carrot rice recipe is a must try with arroz harissa, yes. Now, you will find all the spice blends that have been used for this recipe on my website, Buy Ndudu Prekese.com. I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you ever so much for supporting the brand. I appreciate each and every one of you. You will find traditional African recipes on my blog, indudubyfafa.blogspot.com. So do check it out. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat as Ndudu by Fafa. So do pass by and say hi. Noel, thank you very much for my theme song. And until my next recipe with you, kings and queens, be nice, be beautiful, be gorgeous. And guess what? I love you for you. Thank you very much for tuning in today. Toodles.